Previously on the Jay and Dan podcast.
Attention, Canada. Jay and Dan are coming to a city near you.
We want you to go out and have some cocktails.
Yes.
Have a night away from the kids.
Have some cocktails before you show up.
Have a night where you create new kids.
Afterwards, have sex and think of Dan. You can heckle us. You can throw things at us.
Those
you
are the
can
Gallagher
expose
feet.
your breasts to Dan. We'll take pictures. We'll hang out. We'll give you life advice. Dan will probably sexually service you if you're interested.
Monsignor O'Donoghue, he was the priest at my church when I grew up, and now there's a school named after him.
Looks like he pulled it off.
Paul Maurice and his lady.
You're listening to the Jay and Dan podcast.
I can make something out of this.
Dance. Dance.
Jay and Dan podcast, fully fueled by Tim Hortons, the sponsor of our TV show. They're the only ones open on this holiday Monday. I went to get a Mr. Sub, as I do on Mondays. It was boarded up.
Oh, really?
Well, they didn't board it up.
Prim's out of business?
No. It was closed.
You know why I went out of business? Because you said he'd give you those cookies for free when you went there closing. Everyone went there like, where's my free cookies? Dan said you'd give them to me.
And then there used to be a Wendy's like 2 minutes from here. It's closed. It's gone.
That's been gone since we got back a year and a half ago. I tried to go there once too, and it's been gone at least a couple of years.
Wendy's go bye-bye. So I'm like,
if you would have kept driving up Markham, there was a Mickey D's. I bet you that was open.
Where is the
Have you not eaten?
No. Here's what happened.
What did you eat?
So in the gas station, the Shell bar.
Oh boy,
it has a Timmy's.
Sandwiches at a gas station, like a vacation.
No, but a Tim Hortons sandwich, the new chicken sandwich. I said,
nice.
Give me 2 of those.
Nice, and now you're fueled up with hot chicken
And steep tea.
and the sweat of the corpse of Tim Horton. No.
Yeah, so I didn't get my usual sub, but hey, Tim Hortons, better than the sub.
You should have led with that. Good for you. Good for you, Dan. Dan was at the PGA Championship at Bethpage Black over the weekend. Dan, you must have had a terrific time with your friend Steve Webb.
Yeah, Webby sent me a picture on Thursday afternoon. He said, he sent me a picture of the passes. He had some sweet passes. He said, am I giving this away or are you coming? So I hopped on Travelocity. Found out that my searches were only to one specific airport previously in New York, so my options expanded bountifully. And I found a ticket, flew there, took in the golf. Saturday, again, I say this every time. Live golf is great, but
It's not that great. It's great, but it's not that great. It's a lot of walking.
yeah.
It's a lot of walking. I think it's only good, I've said this to you before, if you're behind the tee boxes. I love standing behind a tee box and watching a professional golfer just crush it down the fairway. Low, long, fantastic, beautiful, a thing of beauty. Around the greens,
We were on the
Meh.
15th fairway in a suite. Didn't know what company got us in there. Didn't matter. We were watching, so we could see everyone's drive when it landed. We couldn't see it off the tee, and then when they came in their second shot, we couldn't see it off the club either. We're just...
like 98% of going to see golf live is to tell your friends and family that you went to see golf live.
And plus, we didn't have to pay for it. I will tell you this. Phil Mickelson, he outdrove everyone on our hole by 30 to 40 yards until DJ came along, and then DJ blew it past Phil. So Phil can bomb it.
Still got it. Phil still got it.
And then, I went and hung out in a Marriott lobby by the Nassau Coliseum after golf, as you do.
Seems like you could have made some different choices.
Well, 2 of the people we went with, one of them was staying at the hotel, so I don't know why we had to go to that hotel lobby, but...
He was smart, though. He made you guys come back there so that he could just stumble to his room afterward. That's a veteran move, and you guys all fell for that. Good for him.
Last time I was in that lobby was when Webby's still playing.
Wait,
Thank God they renovated it.
you frequent the Marriott Hotel lobby
It's
in
right-
Long
Get
Island?
Drinks at lunchtime.
It's right next to the rink, so you can walk from the hotel to the rink.
So,
But we weren't going to an Islanders game.
Right. I guess that's an important part. They're not playing right now, so that's an important part of the story.
Here's what I'm very upset about. So Webby's taking me to the airport. I'm like, what are the guys doing today? He said they're going for cocktails at a low-budget version of Hooters. The name of it? Cans.
I like that.
I'm like, I need to see. He goes, no. He goes, I'm not me. He's like, this place, it's like you're in a dungeon.
You and I, right, just spitballing here. We go to that abandoned Wendy's on Markham Road near TSN. We open our own low-budget Hooters knockoff called
Oh, there, big boy.
Come for the stay for the
Cans. That's the actual name of the bar.
Actually, that's pretty brilliant because you're getting cans of beer and you're seeing some nice cans.
Yeah, so I missed
Come
it on
see
that.
our cans and touch our cans and drink. Put your lips on our cans.
Yeah, you could use that.
Cans. Put your lips on them.
Instead, I get the Marriott lobby.
Yeah, that's weird. That's a weird move.
But again, we're old. We aren't going to a club.
No, but you could go to maybe a bit more lively atmosphere than the Marriott hotel lobby. Though maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was the liveliest.
It was pretty packed.
Pretty lively. A lot of Long Island singles.
Guess how many women we talked to? Absolutely none.
We got to work on your approach. We got to work on that. Who could we talk to? Oh, you know who I ran into? We talked about this.
Yeah.
I bumped into, literally, Gurdeep Ahluwalia, our good friend, former TSN anchor, now morning anchor at CP24, local Toronto news channel. He's killing it. Very popular, very handsome guy, terrific person. And he mentioned that you guys have been discussing maybe hitting the town together, and I love this idea. He'll take you under his wing. Next thing you know, boom, Toolsy's talking to everybody.
We've always discussed it, Gurdeep and I, going out. It's never materialized. I think that's his doing. He's like, yeah, I'm busy.
Yeah, I'd love to take you out and introduce you to some of my, my morning show. I don't even really go out anymore.
That's what he says.
I
He's
don't even really.
I get up so early. The Friday night's a write-off. Then Saturday I got this other thing. Then Sunday I got to get ready for work Monday. So, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, the best part, too, to me, because I was like, this is good. Yeah, this is good. This will be good for Tools. He's like, oh, no, I'm single. Like, I'm not doing any better. I'm like, you look like you walked out of the page of a GQ magazine. Like, I think you're doing all right for yourself.
He's single because he got a puppy. And the reason you get a puppy if you're a single guy is to talk to women.
Well, there you go. Looks like he found the formula. So it's time for Toolsy to get a puppy. The name of the puppy?
My cats are fine. I just need my cats on leashes. Women love that.
Here's my Who wants to take him for a walk? What? Just walking around Orono with two cats on leashes. People think you're crazy.
And I think they infected my eyeball last week.
Oh, they gave you pink eye. They in your eyeball.
No, they gave me cat eye because it only lasted for like 12 hours. Meow.
What is cat eye?
I don't know. Cat fungus, cat dander, maybe?
I feel like those cats squatted over your eyelids as you were sleeping. And then you just blinked. And in that split second where your eyes were like open, they unleashed hell.
Meow. Probably.
As you came in. You had pink eye.
This'll show you for going away to New York.
Yeah. Lucky. No, that's that is, we've talked about this. The best thing about cats is you can leave for a weekend. See, that's the thing. You got a dog, you can't head to the Marriott with Webby in Long Island. Forget about those glamour weekends. No, I mean, honestly, I'm glad you went. Like, you just did it on spur of the moment. I love that. That's fantastic. That's what more of that stuff from you. More of that.
flew into LaGuardia. Still,
Oh,
I think it's
God.
the worst. No.
I'd
Webby
rather
was telling
fly
me
out of a toilet.
Newark is rated the worst airport in the world.
No chance. Newark is way nicer now.
Oh, really?
I
Okay.
think, anyway. That's where I flew into last night because that's where Porter flies into.
But hats off to Webby. He did the pickup and drop off, and the airport's like an hour and a bit from his house.
Never have done that. That's
I know.
unbelievable.
I wasn't questioning it. I wasn't going to say, hey, I can just get an Uber.
Webby wanted to get out of the house for another hour.
Because he does have an event tonight as we tape this podcast, and his wife was doing the entire event.
Nice.
It's like, yeah, I told her you were coming into town. I don't think she liked that.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
That's funny. What a guy. Hey, we have an amazing guest coming up here, and we might as well give him a shout. This is unbelievable. Chris Cuthbert, one of our favorite broadcasters. I'm going to put him top 3 for me all time.
Yeah, that's
in terms of people I've worked with. He's the people I admire.
I say living legend.
He's just the best. I remember when we hired him he had been unceremoniously let go from the CBC, which was so dumb.
Yep.
And we hired him. I couldn't believe we got him. It was incredible. And now he's just killing it. Working for NBC.
First time I met him, I think, was at a Flames game. And I saw him in the booth. I'm like, I work at the same network. Can I just go say hi?
Yeah.
And he was
And
like
did you?
the nicest guy.
Yeah.
I was all starstruck.
Then remember, I'll wait until he gets on the line here with us, but Chris Cuthbert, do you remember when you invited Dan and I to a Guelph Storm game when you were...
I don't know if Guelph's ever been the same.
When you were co-owner of the Guelph Storm. That was a magnificent experience because Drew Doughty was playing for the team at that time, and I remember thinking, that guy's not going to make it.
Well, that apparently tells us how much you had that night, because I think he was pretty well a shoo-in at that point. But it's fun to have watched him then and to see what he's grown into, and one of the highlight moments, I guess, of being involved with the team.
That's like a dream, I think, for Dan and I, like to own like a junior hockey team. And was it your agent, Elliot Kerr, Chris, that kind of got you into that?
Yep. I remember when I first started with Elliot, I said, we were just shooting the breeze, and I said, it'd be fun to be part of a junior team, and he said, that's actually I'm in the planning stages, so I kind of hopped on board at that point, and I think we looked at Belleville first, and then that went a different way, and Guelph came open, and I think one of the things he was looking for was a team kind of close to the GTA, so it would be accessible for guys who wanted to be involved, and Guelph turned out to be perfect for that.
For me, and I can't speak for Dan, Chris, but I would have said, Elliot, I want to buy a team that plays in a mall. So if you can find that.
Actually, that's exactly what happened.
Chris, how was your season this year, Colin? How many games? Do you keep track? How many games did you call this year? Because you were doing games for NBC as well.
I don't. I'm one of these guys that doesn't keep track, and now I wish I did, because there's actually a guy in the States on Twitter. It's called Unnecessary Sports Research, and he tweets out every once in a while how many games he's got you at, and we had some fun with that this year, because I made a big deal with our group that Joe Micheletti was doing his 250th national game, and we had fake graphics up and the whole 9 yards about Joe hitting this milestone, and like 3 days later he tweeted out that I was doing game 1075 at the national level in Canada and the U.S., and of course I got it right back. So, but actually the exact number of games that I do, I have no idea.
Now, you mentioned Joe Micheletti, so you do, for some of the listeners who don't know, you work for NBC Sports Network throughout the year and in the playoffs, so you end up calling a lot of playoff games. So I imagine you might get asked this a lot, but differences for you in working with an American crew and a Canadian crew?
The biggest difference, and almost the only difference, is the reaction I get from the American audience, because apparently I should be on Letterkenny, because I didn't realize I had such a Canadian accent. But apparently I do, and I get lots of tweets correcting my pronunciation of certain things, and that's the biggest. And the only other difference in my approach, I love to talk about the guy from Moosomin, Saskatchewan, or Carlisle, Saskatchewan, or Brooks, Alberta, or wherever when I'm doing a Canadian game, and certainly at the national level, I don't do it as much on Leaf or Senator broadcast, but down there I like to talk about the guy from small town Minnesota or whatever. Try to create that link. So I'm looking for different stories down there than I might up in Canada.
Did you get a chance to see Bob Cole in his farewell tour? If my memory serves me correctly, didn't you guys get a picture this year? Because you're rarely in the same rink together. You know what?
It happened a couple of times last year, and I don't think I did see him this year. This year, I'd see him during the playoffs for the most part, because Bob would work Saturdays and then during the playoffs. So this year he didn't work the playoffs, but last year I did, and man, I love the way he finished. And I shouldn't say this because Bob probably doesn't love the way he finished, because he's finished, and Bob would I think everybody knows Bob would like to continue on, and I'm sure there's a lot of fans out there that feel the same way, but that last night, the Montreal-Toronto game, is the way Bob should go out with those two teams on the ice, and it was 2-0 early for the Leafs, and the game didn't have the same significance, and I'm kind of feeling like this is going to get away because it doesn't have any importance, and the Canadians got off to a terrible start, and then all of a sudden it's 6-5, and it's I think a shootout to finish, and it doesn't get much better than that for a guy to say farewell to the best play-by-play career in Canadian broadcasting history.
Yeah, how would you describe him? Because people on social media, you know how it is. They say, oh, he shouldn't have been calling games. But it's the way he calls the game. No one does it like him, and it's tough to explain. Maybe you, as a play-by-play announcer, can describe it better. Well,
I'll describe it by telling you that every producer I've worked with, maybe not every producer, but the leadership after I got involved in play-by-play has been trying to change the way the game is called, trying to change it away from the way Bob calls it. From the first time I went on the air for Hockey Night in Canada, and I was, it was a lifelong goal to be on Hockey Night, and that first game was as nerve-wracking as I'll ever have. And, 3 days later, Ralph Mellenby calls me and says, you didn't do it the way we wanted. We wanted more conversation. And then he said, you called a good game, but they were trying to get away from the traditional way. And NBC, back in 2005 when I was involved, they wanted conversation. They said, we'll have three people on the air, and each of you will talk 33% of the time. And so you've always had everybody trying to change the way Bob's always called it, and I find we're all getting back to the way Bob called it, because the way Bob called it was the right way in the first place. He doesn't like too much conversation. He doesn't want it to get in the way of the flow of the game, and it's all about the flow and the voice and the intonation, and Bob just had that in spades, better than anybody else. I guess his voice better. Danny Gallivan certainly had the same call, and Dan Kelly too. For me, those are the three guys that stand above everybody else in the way hockey is called. But Bob, I think, had the best voice of those three guys, and it's a unique tool. And boy, I wish I had that voice.
You have a fascinating role, because with TSN, of course, you're doing hockey, and then you're doing the Canadian Football League, and you're the voice of the Grey Cup. And with the Grey Cup, you have a regular partner in Glenn, and you guys have that great rapport and you have that great chemistry with Glenn Suter. Whereas in hockey, now that you're working for NBC and you're doing stuff with TSN with multiple different guys like Ray and Mike Johnson and stuff like that, is it tougher for you, or is it kind of more refreshing to be able to work with different people on the hockey side?
You know, I told you I don't count number of games, but this year I kind of made a point because I've worked with so many. I started counting color commentators I've worked with. I think I'm around 40 different.
Wow.
So that tells me that I must not be doing a very good job because nobody sticks with me. But listen, you're spoiled when you get to work with a guy like Ray Ferraro or any of our people, but I find it refreshing too to get different other voices, and you know, you develop relationships as you go on the air so that you sound better when you're on the air, and so I get to work with Pierre Maguire and Joe Micheletti and Brian Boucher and Eddie Olczyk and Mike Milbury, and you know, as you get to know these guys, you get to know what what their style is, and I've had the pleasure of working with AJ Malesko now, who I think is really making an impact as a fresh new voice on the air, and with Kendall Coyne Schofield as well this year, and actually 3 women I've worked with Cami Granato as well, and I enjoy that variety, and so I've worked with Cami, who's a Hall of Famer, and I've worked with her husband, who's not in the Hockey Hall of Fame.
But better Granato, Cami or Ray?
Ray, what's it like to travel with him? Is he always irritated at all times?
There's a lot that bugs Ray, but you know what? He's one of these guys that he'll talk to anybody. We cannot walk more than a few steps in a rink without Ray finding somebody to talk to. He's that guy. So if you're trying to leave after a game in a hurry, you're probably not going to get out of the rink very quickly, because Ray knows somebody, or he knows somebody who knows somebody, and he's one of those guys. So as much as he's like the grumpy guy, he's Mr. Personality too. So you know, you have to deal with that too. But it's never dull with Ray, that's for sure. The worst part though are the cab rides, because I don't think I've ever been in a cab with Ray where he has approved fully of the way the guy has handled the vehicle or the traffic. And I usually find that, especially like the trips in to the rink in L.A. are usually really bad, because Ray has some knowledge of the Los Angeles highways. I'm not sure why that applies to any of this, but he is never satisfied with the way the guy has handled Los Angeles traffic, and so that 30 minutes can be agonizing if it's not going well.
What are your right now, putting you on the spot a bit, 3 favorite NHL buildings to call a game in?
Well, can I say the Montreal Forum?
Of course, you can go back and say that.
There was nothing like the Montreal Forum.
Yeah.
And to be in the same seat as Danny Gallivan with the perfect perch over center ice at the Forum was it was just a privilege to be there on a Saturday night, and the Bell Center is special in the same way. They couldn't replicate the Forum, but they did as well as they possibly could. And I guess I like the Canadian rinks for the most part, because of their broadcast perches are better, but there are some places now, and it's strictly as a play-by-play guy. I love the location in Dallas. We're at the top of the first level of seats, and so you're kind of in the crowd. Vegas was the same way earlier this year, and that Vegas crowd is the best crowd regular season-wise. I wasn't there in the playoffs, but I can't imagine a better crowd for a regular season game than Vegas this year. But I could rhyme off a few. But for broadcast location, there wasn't really anything quite like the Montreal Forum.
What's the worst rink, past or present?
Ooh, there are a few bad ones. actually, the new rink in Edmonton, which is a beautiful facility, is by far the worst broadcast location.
I've heard
and
that.
I have begged to get down below where I guess the hockey night and the local broadcasts are. And for NBC, I've been down there, but I had to call the first game I ever did in the new building in Edmonton. Was up top and with those orange jerseys. I mean, when you're having trouble telling if it's Connor McDavid or not, then you're having trouble.
The CFL just ratified their new CBA. Are you already shifting into CFL mode now, Chris, or are you still kind of in hockey playoff mode?
I'm on vacation, but I've just spent the last 15 minutes. I just watched about 3 or 4 of the 3-on-3 TSN previews, and it's you know what, I absolutely love the Stanley Cup playoffs, and when they're over, it's a little disappointing for a few days when it's over for me, and then I get 2 or 3 weeks of vacation, and I find that late in that vacation you start getting you're ready to go again. So there's been lots of movement, lots of players in different places, so you know, it's kind of it's there's a little bit of homework to be done to kind of catch up with everything that's happened and the CBA and all that. But we'll be ready to go and looking forward to it.
You joined us on our podcast and you're on vacation? I am so sorry.
I know. You're so kind.
Just back from Death Valley.
Oh, how was that?
It was. There's a reason it's called Death Valley. I think it can be a little. It was like kind of going to the moon or Mars or I can imagine. There's not a lot growing at Death Valley, but pretty fascinating. And Joshua Tree too. We're in Arizona and we kind of make our way around to some of the national parks around here and some of the different sites. So that was on our list this year, and it was interesting.
Chris, we're gonna let you get back to your vacation, but I just wanted to say, Dan and I, we're really big fans of you, and we really we consider you a mentor more than a friend. So I hope that's okay, because as you can see, we're not good broadcasters, so you probably don't want us to consider you that.
Well, I hope I'm not responsible for all this, but listen, right back at you. My wife didn't mind me being on the podcast today because I said I was going to go on with Dan and Shay, and she's a big fan of the song Tequila. So this has been no problem at all getting on with you, even though we're on vacation and getting ready to go out for dinner. But it's always a pleasure, boys. You know what? You guys are so good at what you do. I'm afraid to go on because I'm just going to pull it all down. But
no, absolutely not.
Where are you going for dinner?
I think we're going to do Mexican tonight, which is not really a reach in Arizona.
No.
Yeah, no, that's true. We'll enjoy it and enjoy next couple of weeks off, and we will chat with you down the road and enjoy the CFL season as well.
Do I get a discount on the Jay and Dan tour tickets for this?
We might have a pair for you if we can pull you up on stage and get you to play-by-play of Dan's previous night out at the bars.
Well, I could do the play-by-play of that night in Guelph.
Oh, yeah, that sounds.
But that'd be more than a night's worth of entertainment. So.
I agree. Yeah. Count on it. We'll discuss it down the road for sure.
All right, boys.
Thanks,
Great
Chris.
to be with you.
Enjoy Taco Bell.
Chris Cuthbert.
When was the last time you had Taco Bell?
Once in my life, high school.
Once?
Edmonton. Yeah. I had it once in my life in high school. Came to Edmonton. It was on, they opened one on St. Albert Trail in St. Albert. I remember it like it was yesterday. I got like a steak burrito. It was horrible. I was like, I'll never eat here again. And I haven't.
Wow, you really stuck to your guns.
Yeah. I never found, because I love Mexican food. Like you're not as big on Mexican food, I think, as I am. I love Mexican food. I don't consider that Mexican.
I like my old El Paso tacos. They're great.
What about, what was the El Pollo Loco? We used to talk about
it
in
okay.
LA all the time.
It was
El
okay.
Pollo Loco. I never got there. But there was so much good, cheap Mexican food in LA that I just didn't understand why I would go to like Taco Bell or something.
And again, if you go over to the Scarborough Town Center here, it's right next to the TSN
Yeah,
studios.
right across from the studio.
In the food court, Taco Bell lined up every time.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I should give it another chance. But
I think it's because it's the cheapest option.
Now, maybe tonight, instead of I mean, you never want to pass up on those Timmy's chicken sandwiches, but maybe after this podcast we tape it, you head out to Taco Bell, you get yourself a cheesy gordito crunch.
I'm all full.
Hold the turtle and make it pee.
Okay, I wanted to. This is amazing, Dan. I used to talk about how much I masturbated all the time, and I feel like now that I know this makes you uncomfortable, but I still do a lot. But this is the thing: I don't talk about masturbating on planes and stuff. But I remembered a clip from a little while ago, and I think this is really good life advice. This is from Ernest Borgnine, who's a famous Hollywood actor. Our generation might know him best. He was on Airwolf. He was the kind of mentor, older guy on Airwolf, if you remember.
And if you remember the Simpsons episode where they go rafting, he is a voice in that episode.
So Ernest Borgnine, I believe, lived till he was 95 or something like that. Not sure when he died. Maybe a few years ago. Anyway, he did a great interview when he was like 93 on I think it might have been a Fox News show, and he was promoting a book. And this is what he had to say.
To the show, but real quickly, you're 91 years old. You look fantastic. You look like you're in your late 60s, early 70s. What's the secret?
I don't dare tell you.
No meat. You don't eat meat.
I masturbate a lot.
Okay, I think. Thank you, Ernie. That was great.
I actually heard that.
He leaned over.
I masturbate a lot.
Yes.
The way he
I
said it.
masturbate a lot.
Yes.
One of the best themes ever. Wait till it kicks in. You're ready to go to war. And then
I masturbate a lot. I masturbate a lot. I masturbate a lot.
This would be nice background music while you're masturbating.
Masturbate a lot.
Hey, you'll hear things like that on the Jay and Dan podcast tour. If you didn't know, tickets officially went on sale Friday.
Yeah.
And we are going to Victoria, Vancouver, Edmonton, Calgary, Saskatoon, Winnipeg. That's our western swing. We're going to do the east in the new year.
Yeah.
We won't specify which cities, but a few cities are like 60% sold out.
Yeah, it's
few of those
amazing because we're getting kind of feedback already on how many tickets sold in each market, and yeah, it's actually been incredible. There's maybe one city that we could do a little bit better in, and I'm not going to mention any names.
I came from the big city.
Can we jettison that city?
No, we can't. It's a beautiful city.
It's in Canada.
It's in Canada. It's on the West Coast. It's, I think people know the city. I think people know. It's a tough sell, apparently, for, I remember Jeremy Taggart saying it was the toughest city for them to sell tickets in, and for Our Lady Peace.
Okay.
So, people in that city, you know which city I'm talking about. You get out there, you're going to have a great time. Come on out and see us. Okay, come out and hang out. You can't spend every night, I don't know.
Smoking weed? You can smoke weed and come. It's legal.
Smoke weed during the show. Come on,
It'll be fun.
Where can people find tickets?
So eventbrite.ca is one place, but you can go, if you go to our Jay and Dan Instagram page and look at the posting that Danny put up there with all the dates and all the venues, right on the bottom it'll tell you where to go. Eventbrite.ca I think is the key one though. Yeah, go check it out, man. We're going to have a great time. It's going to be fun.
So I posted on Instagram, I said, hey, after 6 years of talking about it, we're finally doing it. And I mention everything. I mention the dates. And I say, we'll be hitting the eastern part of the country in the new year. People don't read what you post.
No.
So
you have to put that in the almost the first three sentences.
One guy was like,
words.
What cities are you hitting? Yeah. When are you hitting the east?
Yeah, I know. We all got a little bit of that.
I put it all in.
But that's good. But that's it's good and bad because yes, they should see it's right there. But the fact that people in Atlantic, Canada, are very interested in us coming to do the show out there, we're thrilled about that, and we will be there in the spring.
And when you purchase tickets, message us on Instagram or
we
Twitter. We
love
love hearing
that.
it. A guy sent us a message. He said, best drunk purchase he ever made.
I love that one. Yeah, absolutely. As soon as you make that purchase, send us a tweet, and we'd love to hear from you. But yeah, it'll be in the fall. September, we have the Vancouver Victoria dates. October, we've got the Calgary Edmonton dates. And November, we wrap it up with Saskatoon.
Come on, it'll be fun.
And the Peg. It's going to be fun.
I want to hit the museum. I want to hit a museum in each city.
Okay. I like that.
Can
Very
we do that?
ambitious. I think we could. Yeah, I
want to hit a Timmy's in each city.
That's easy. That's simple, for sure. Does the airport count?
And I want to hit a Cans in each city.
I want to hit a in each city. I want to
In her yam.
I want to suck on some in each city.
Can't say that.
What? No, that's like drinking brews at a restaurant.
No one says that.
Let's go drinking brews at. Come on down to showing you our.
I'd love
come for the and stay for the.
I'd love the discussion with the owner of Cans on Long Island when the people come and say, you can't call your restaurant. He's like, what? Oh, you're sick. Your mind's in the gutter. Really?
We didn't mean that at all.
You're disgusting.
It's the same with.
We're talking about beer cans, buddy.
Yeah, and we're talking about.
I think you can say that.
All right, fair enough. Quick preview. Next week's podcast. The official return of Ben Teller. Here's the caveat. Dan has, and I think he is justified in requesting this. He's requested a time limit.
Okay, now we were discussing this before the show. I'm saying 5, you're saying 10. Can we meet in the middle?
No, we got to have 10. It's got to be 10 because
I think I'm just a penis guy.
He's been gone so long, and you know how long-winded he is. If we ask him one question, that's going to eat up 5 right there. And he's been in Amsterdam, and he's going to have some advice for you because he was just in Amsterdam for like 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going there.
What?
Long story.
Are we talking about this? No?
Well,
it's over. No Amsterdam trip.
Might be hitting a new location. Reasons with flights and such, and it's a long story. There will be no touchdowns.
But wait, I think you could still go. You could go with a week's notice.
I know, but we're running into problems with the connectors and all that stuff.
Oh, connectors are nothing.
There was one flight. There was 4 connections, and the longest part was on Air Canada Rouge from Europe. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, no, I can't even joke. Like I would have been like, that's fine, but I can't even joke. That would be horrible. Yeah, you're right. You can't do that. Well, I guess it's back to Long Island for the Marriott for Toolsy this summer.
It has changed my life.
Where'd you spend your week off? You ever hear of Long Island? Oh, yeah.
I masturbate a lot.
Marriott lobby, newly renovated. Boom.
Every night, Toolsy's there. The bartender's like, what is wrong with you? Like, why are you here? Just give me my drink. And go back up to my room now.
I masturbate a lot.
Hey, and I want my room facing the Coliseum. Okay? Got it.
The Long Island Marriott. Oh, God.
It was that one, or we went to another lobby in which our friend Robert Lucetich was at. But I guess that one was 30 minutes from where we were going, so that was off the table.
Oh, I get that. You don't want to travel.
It was dueling. It was not dueling pianos. It was dueling lobbies.
I just cranked up the volume on my headphones. There we go. All right. Well, that was a blast. Man, Cuthbert, what a guy. I didn't realize he was on vacay at his Arizona manse.
Yeah.
That's what you need, Toolsy. You need to buy a place down in Scottsdale.
I was talking to my brother the other day. A friend of his purchased a timeshare. People still purchase timeshares.
No.
Oh, no. It was somebody he met on a flight, and they had got a timeshare.
No.
Oh, my golly.
I don't understand it. They were paying like $10,000 a year in fees.
Oh, God.
I know. It just sounds like... Who's the salesperson that convinced you of that?
And then on satellite radio, I noticed that you hear a lot of timeshare.
They'll buy your timeshare.
They'll buy it, like get you out of the timeshare specialists. Yeah, that's a disaster.
Those dollar bills, y'all.
Don't get into timeshare, but do invest in our restaurant chain.
Well, we got our first location. It's next to a Timmy's in Scarborough.
That's exactly where it should be.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been an absolute pleasure to do this podcast with you.